Doesn't it just blow your mind that the Islamic regime is currently depending on the woke right to push their narratives forward? Doesn't it actually make you feel nauseous to think about the fact that there is leadership, whichever leadership's left over, sitting in Iran, planning how they're going to kill Americans, Israelis, Jews, Westerners, infidels, anybody in their periphery, which they disagree with. And then there's the woke righties in America who are sitting and doing their propaganda work for them. Literally sitting and saying, no, this isn't America's war, and this is actually an Israel thing, and pushing the direct lines that these ayatollahs, these extremist Islamists are out there thinking to themselves, how can we get America to think this? And then you have the right doing it. I mean, I can't wrap my head around it. I expected it from the left because the left have clearly been just brainwashed into this insane propaganda and manipulation tactics. I mean, the whole Queers for Palestine thing just proved it. But from the woke right, in the names of protecting America, pushing forward literal Islamist, I can't. I can't. And it makes me mad, especially during this war. Because to think about the fact that you have Donald Trump, who is pulling off one of the most heroic military operations of all time. We have never seen anything like what is going on right now in Iran, by America, by Israel. It's just amazing. And he has to deal with a voter base who's saying, no wars, you promised us no wars. I mean, it just makes me sick. This whole thing makes me sick and annoyed and frustrated. Ugh, this is a real problem. And this is exactly how societies get destroyed. But let's watch for a second how Ben Shapiro decided to react to this. Because yes, all of these psychos need to be called out. Because if you're not yet clear on the fact that extremism destroys a culture and society, here is the proof of it. We had the extreme left that has been doing a great job at doing damage. And you've got the extreme right who is currently doing so much damage, but they're still new and we're not really used to them. And yes, I'm talking about the Megyn Kellys of the universe. Okay, let's watch.
The final Iranian strategy in the end is count on the American left and the horseshoe right to join and mirror the principles of the Iranians, which is why Ali Larijani, who is seen by many as the sort of temporary leader of Iran, is now taking to X to tweet, quote, Trump has betrayed America first to adopt Israel first. Who's that addressed at? Who's that addressed at? It's not addressed at Iranians. It's not addressed at Saudis.
Nope.
It's addressed at Americans, and particularly the American horseshoe right. He is hoping that Tucker Carlson and all of his ridiculous cohorts go to the president and claim that it's not America first to take out America's top enemy in the Middle East for the last 5 decades, who've tried to assassinate the president. That's what, in the end, there's only one ally that the Iranian regime can count on, and it's the American left and the horseshoe right. That is their true ally. Those are the people they are truly counting on, which presumably is why Cenk Uygur put out one of the most insane tweets of all time. Truly, quote, I criticized Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, 1,000 times. He was oppressing his own people and preventing democracy. But there's one thing you can't take away from him. He died on his own 2 feet instead of kneeling to Israel. That took courage. He didn't bow. I mean, we're now doing the actual X joke, right? We're just doing memes now. You got to hand it to Hitler. That's where we are now with Cenk Uygur. Sure, he was a horrific human being who murdered tens of thousands of his own citizens and reduced them to poverty and spread terrorism all over the region against Arabs, Jews, and Christians alike. But he did hate Jews an awful lot. By the way, how many times had Cenk Uygur ever tweeted about Ali Khamenei? Ever? 0.
By the way, on this show, we call him Cenk Yogurt because he looks like a decaying yogurt. You know what I mean? But do you realize how crazy the Jew hatred, the Israel hatred has gotten, that people are literally willing to look at an Islamist terrorist, like a leading objective Osama bin Laden level, if not worse, Khamenei, like everybody knows who this guy is, and be like, well, at least he was a hero because he stood up to the Israelis. I mean, first of all, we don't actually know that he died on his own 2 feet. He might have fallen from the massive bombs. But regardless of that, it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable how low these people will go to be able to prove a point.
Meanwhile, again, they know that they can count on the New York Times. The New York Times obituary. The New York Times obituary for Ali Khamenei. Honestly, the obituaries for Scott Adams from these publications are so much harsher than the obituaries for, like the mass murdering terror leader. Quote, with his spectacles, Palestinian khafia, long robes, and silver beard, Ayatollah Khamenei cast himself as a religious scholar as well as a writer and translator of works on Islam. He affected an avuncular and magnanimous aloofness, running the country from a perch above the jousting of daily politics. Wow. But don't worry, the Washington Post obituary, way worse. You ready? It turns out Ayatollah Khamenei is Santa. He's going to come down your chimney with a Kalashnikov. Quote, with his bushy white beard and easy smile. Wow. Bushy white beard and easy smile. And his sexy dad bod. I mean, this is like, what the hell is wrong with you, Washington Post? His bushy white beard and easy smile. What is that, Tinder description? Ayatollah Khamenei cut a more avuncular figure in public than his perpetually scowling but much more revered mentor. He was known to be fond of Persian poetry, classic Western novels, especially Victor Hugo's Les Miserables, as well as long walks on the beach. What the hell? What is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you? Count on the left-wing media to do the work of the Ayatollahs. That is the most bizarre description of a true piece of human shit that I've ever, I mean, truly amazing stuff there from the Washington Post. Well done, obit writers. Wow.
So bad.
Adam Schiff, the senator from California, also helping out. He jumps in, he says, don't worry, the Ayatollah posed no imminent threat. Okay, so I'm just going to point out again, the Ayatollah spread terrorism all over the world. The Ayatollah was not just an imminent threat to Israel, he's an imminent threat to Saudi Arabia, to Jordan, to Lebanon, to UAE. I mean, I love that imminent threat now comes to mean that basically, unless everything has to be an episode of 24, that unless the Ayatollah has planted a bomb at the base of the Empire State Building and Kiefer Sutherland is going to charge and he has 5 seconds to stop the detonation, there's no imminent threat. Adam Schiff, how this guy failed up into the Senate? Well, California's California.
No, you're right about the Ayatollah. He was a brutal dictator. This is a murderous regime. But at the same time, it posed no imminent threat of attack to the United States.
I'm so tired of Democrats with this nonsense. He was brutal. He was terrible. But, it's sad that he's gone. Get over it, guys. Get over it. But don't worry. It's not just, of course, the left. It is, of course, the horseshoe right. Don't worry. Tucker Carlson, a true coward, because he won't go directly up against President Trump ever. He goes and he pretends to be his friend. He sits across from him in the Oval Office and he tries to wheedle him. And then he goes out and he just undercuts every aspect of his foreign policy and rips on him basically as a tool of the Jews. And that's essentially what Tucker Carlson is doing. Jonathan Karl reported yesterday, quote, he told me the president's decision is, quote, absolutely disgusting and evil. Well, at least I know maybe the president will figure out which side Tucker Carlson is on. It turns out it is not the side of the Trump administration.
No, it is not.
And given his proclivities with other countries, I hope he enjoys his home in Qatar. Marjorie Taylor Greene came out and said, maybe this is all a ploy to cancel the midterms. Again, why we pretend that this is a human with anything relevant to say is beyond me, truly beyond me. This is a problem on the right. It's really a problem on the right. Here's how the right, anytime the left responds to a person purportedly on the right by criticizing that person, the right immediately valorizes that person and tries to turn that person into a hero. So the left originally pointed out that Marjorie Taylor Greene's a moron because she's a moron, but also because she wasn't left wing. And the right went, well, if they're calling her a moron, she must be a genius. Nope. Nope. She's just a moron. But at least, she'll have more time to go to the gym. That's the most important thing. Tucker Carlson guest list, complete with many people very upset with the president of the United States. Andrew Tate, the alleged and who was treated to a very warm episode on Tucker's show, tweet out, nobody wants this war. Why do we care what you have to say, my dude? Okay. I mean, it turns out the Iranian people want the Iranian regime to go away. It turns out that many people around the Middle East would like it to stop. It turns out that many Americans actually would like for the Iranian regime to stop being a threat to the United States and our citizens. Yep. Or maybe you're just Milo Yiannopoulos, another Tucker Carlson guest, an ambulatory psychotic. who put out a tweet in Arabic saying, quote, "Oh Allah, preserve Ayatollah Khamenei. Oh Allah, indeed we place you in their throats and we seek refuge in you from their evils." Milo, who is a longtime flamboyantly gay man, is cosplaying right now as a newfound Christian while tweeting to Allah for the health of Ayatollah Khamenei. The clown show horseshoe right, man.
It just makes no sense. These people just make no sense. They're so full of themselves. So they're egotistical narcissists. They think they can just get away with this. They're not. They're not going to get away with it. They're just going to burn out like everybody else does.
And of course, no horseshoe right would be complete without Nazi lover Nick Fuentes. Here he was calling for open resistance to President Trump.
We need in 2026 for this administration to be shut the down. What does this administration do other than cover up the Epstein files, embezzle money through government contracts, and bring us to war for Israel? This administration needs to be shut down immediately. Do not vote in the midterms, and if you do, vote for Democrats.
Well, if you wish to follow a movement led by people who are escapees from a psych ward and or closeted and not so closeted homosexuals, then I guess you could do that. I guess that could be, or perhaps these people are maybe worth ignoring, perhaps. Now, part of the Iranian strategy, obviously, is to threaten Americans with the possibility of terrorism.
I just want to tell you guys that during the filming of this video, this is the third alert that I have received for rockets incoming. I just want everyone to know that.
There was a shooting attack on American soil that happened over the weekend. A Senegalese national and naturalized U.S. citizen living in Pflugerville, Texas, shot up a bar. He killed 2 Americans. He wounded 13 others. He was wearing a sweatshirt that said "Property of Allah" and a shirt underneath with an Iranian flag theme. That is what we know at this point. He did have multiple posts defending people like Candace Owens on his X account. Not a gigantic shock. And of course, he was very upset with what was going on in Iran, presumably, which speaks to the fact that we really should not let people like this in our country, and we are idiots for having done so in the first place. But yes, obviously, when we talk about the spread of Islamic radicalism and terrorism, it turns out that Iran exporting its ideology all over the world has not been a boon for the globe.
It's true. You have these random terrorist attacks across America, and they all come from the same ideology. They all come from the same ideology, crazy Islamization, which is why we are celebrating this Iran war, because even though there are idiots out there who aren't capable of actually thinking for themselves about anything for some reason, we know the truth, that this is one of the best things to ever happen in history. It is a miraculous time to be living through it. It is an amazing time. It is an exciting time. We are so grateful to the administrations in Israel and in America and everybody who is out there working day in and day out to defend against terrorism. Any person, anywhere, who thinks terrorism is bad, we are all on the same side. And that's it, pure and simple. Anybody out there who thinks that they should be putting anything before the fight against terrorism, politically, I'm kind of over it. You want to be like, oh, America first. We shouldn't be stopping the Islamic Republic, which is killing your people in Texas. Guys, it's just idiotic, and it's not pro-America, and it's not pro the West, and it's not pro anything. It is just pro-idiocy. And you are now the mouthpiece for the Ayatollahs. What a disgrace.